Hi, Mike. It's nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, Mike. I never expected when I answered your ad that you were offering an opportunity to sit next to you and watch you trade. I want to thank you for that opportunity to do this. Hello, Mike.
Hello?
Yeah. Hi, Mike.
Good morning. I apologize. I was on mute.
Okay. Well, when I answered your ad, I had no idea I'd have the opportunity to sit next to you and watch you trade. My name's Jimmy Newby,
Good morning,
and
Jim. How are you?
yeah, good. I, I, you know, I've always wanted to learn how to trade since I saw that movie Trading Places, and those guys made all that money in orange juice, and I thought there had to be another way besides stealing crop report information to be able to pull some pips out of the market. So interested in learning how you did it, Mike, and where you learned. Did you have a chance like this to sit next to a trader? Were you ever on the floor, or those guys they call floor traders?
No, I was never on the floor. And, well, just let me say, if anybody wants, well, first of all, here's this where I'm currently at as we speak. I've been at TradeView Markets for the past almost decade, if you will. I'll just get to the point. And this is where I'm currently at as being an active manager for over a quarter century, 26 years. I think I'm going on my 27th year. So, this isn't, you know, a Pat Michael V on the back video. This is about conveying to Jim, if you will, and everybody else out there, just what it takes to get to a certain level. And it doesn't mean that you have to go stealing crop reports. And just keep in mind that,
I'm so relieved because my wife didn't want me to get into trading because of that reason.
well,
She
yeah, there are too many
didn't want
cameras
me to
around
go to
anyway these
jail.
days. This,
Yeah.
what I'm saying is that, and it goes down to, it goes the most, it's amazing. It's almost like your parents reverberating back to you when you were a child. Mine were very right about the majority of lessons that I learned were from the infancy, or from the incubation stages of my career.
Yeah.
And I just want everybody to know out there that you have to keep in mind, even at this level, that if you always keep in the back of your head that the markets are greater than us all, then you'll never get ahead of yourself. You'll keep humble. And I also treat it, I treat the markets almost like the old man in the Cedar book. And it's like, I respect it. I know that I can get thrown overboard anytime, meaning in trading, your losses can go exponentially against you, is more a lot quicker than you can make it back. And I have a lot of respect for what I do. It took a long way to get there. And any person at a very high level, you'll see even Tiger Woods or LeBron James, they go through their basic routines, and they go through their basic routines for a reason, because when it comes time and they perfect that routine, and let me digress, maybe their routine isn't the best. There are other players at very, very high levels. It's just that maybe they know how to do their routine particularly in a better way. For example, with me particularly,
Yeah.
I don't
What's the
maybe,
first thing? What's the first thing you do, Mike? Your routine. It's the market's about to open, and I see a lot of people. They get ready and they have their charts, and I've looked around the internet. That's why it's so great to be able to sit next to you and watch what you do. So first thing you do before the opening bell, what is it?
well, first of all, it's my particular style of trading. I consider myself I mean, after doing this for 25 or 20, so 27 years, to be specific, I consider myself, I mean, if they can give Pee Wee Herman a doctorate, I consider myself, I could have a doctorate at this point. So I consider myself a doctor to a degree, and I prepare, or there are different type of doctors, there are different type of athletes. There are obviously basketball players, there and football players. There's anesthesiologists, there's pediatricians, there are podiatrists. So like I said, I have a particular style. Some people like to use a style where, first of all, everything, and it's almost like the Hippocratic Oath is to a doctor, everything that I do is predicated upon on a particular equity, positive price action, meaning a stock should be acting accordingly to the market and the pullback with the sector, as well as the futures, if you will. It also has to have good relative volume, and it also has to have range. Some stock could do a secondary and print, 200 million shares and have a 20-cent range. I'm not interested.
Well,
So that's
Mike, you keep bringing up doctors, and it makes me think. I certainly don't want to learn from a quack. There are doctors that are quacks, and how do I know, and how do I avoid getting information from quacks and charlatans in this industry?
Well, you know what? It goes by trial and error. For example, everybody has the best brain. Everybody's got the best mechanic. I know everybody's got the guy. And I'm not saying that one guy's better than the other guy, but I'm sure there's a bunch of very, very good ones out there. So what I'm like, I'll even go to my Twitter feed, if you will. So let's say, so I go to my Twitter feed, and there's obviously a major part of my process. So if I consider myself a doctor, someone comes to me, say I'm a general practitioner, Mike V, I have a problem with my foot, then I might equate that to the guy that likes to trade active stocks. So I might go to, I know who that is. That might be who's an IT trader. He's my guy that I go to for active stocks. Now I'm not alone. The guy has 500,000 followers, and he's very good at what he does. So suppose, somebody says, Mike V, I just want to trade futures. Okay, then I have it. That's like a doctor saying, I have a problem with my knee. So I go, I refer him. It's a referral. This is my Twitter feed is another referral. That doctor might be Dale Pinkert, who I know trades FX every day. So if I'm looking for that particular trade in that style, I know who to go to right away. And it goes just by anything in life. It goes by trust and trial and error. And I don't want to throw 1,000 cliches out there, but it goes through routine. It goes from what works and what doesn't work for each individual. Everybody's got
okay. So the opening bell, you're one of the first things you do is what? Go through your Twitter feed and see what's active, or you go to your screen. You go to your screen and see what's moving.
Well, the opening bell is literally the last thing that I do in my process. That's the last thing.
Okay.
Like I said, I've yet to meet an individual that can flip on a switch and just made money with an algo. I've yet to do it. So with that being said, my preparation start. It's ongoing. It's ongoing, and I'm an active manager. So it's a process that is not suffocating. It's passionate to me. I have a routine that works, and it's probably stops at 8:00 at night and starts at 4 a.m. So let's say I shut off my computers. I leave my desk, my office, and I watch TV, and then I go to bed. And depending on if I have a lot of low float stocks or stocks that I think are going to be one of these suppose I take 20, 40,000 shares of something that's going to move $1 or $2 in the morning, at 4 a.m. And by the way, if you follow on TradeGATEHub, or at least know what you're doing to some degree, you'll know what stocks are going to move. I'm not getting up at 4 a.m. to get out of 500 shares at Disney. And I'm pulling up right here that people even like Jim Cramer, still to this day, this guy gets up at 4 a.m. So a bunch of us
get up.
What time do I get it? It depends on, listen, it depends on my positions. If I have, like I said, if I have something that it's going to move, I'll get up with, the latest I get up is 4:30. If there's something that I need to do, I get up.
I get up at 4. You know why, Mike? Because that's when Rocky Balboa got up to train for his fight with Apollo Creed.
That's fine. If you want to be do what I do and get up 3:30, so you'll have a plan by 4. What I'm saying is that's not the best way. It's what it's an ongoing process. I know what you're getting at. What do I look at the bell? So I get up and I look at, the first thing I look at is how Asia closes, how China closes, and how Europe is starting, which basically is give and take around that area between 3:30 and 4:30 Eastern. So, and then I look at what's happening pre-markets. I might hedge. Anything that I do before probably 7 o'clock a.m. Eastern is completely predicated 100%. I don't care what is going on volume. I'm not going to be the guy to step in on 2,000 shares of Apple or let's say whatever at 420 and try to get cute because there's no edge. So anything that I do, including indices, even more so, actually, even with stocks, is it has to have volume involved. So I get a mental picture of what's going on. Now I even go to my Twitter feed and I have a process. I know that that if I want to go to knowledge, for example, my neurologist is Walter Bloomberg, Walter Bloomberg, and he's the guy that I look at just for upgrades and downgrades. I can count on him every day. I can count on him all the time. And here is upgrades and downgrades. He's actually on vacation now, but all he does is point out, and he's good at 7 o'clock in the morning. Price target changes, coverage initiates, downgrades, and upgrades. So I get my research out of the way. So I know what's going on of why something might move, why there might be other pin action involved, and how it might affect other stocks in the sector. For example, let me go to this last downgrade that you might have. Caterpillar. Okay, Caterpillar got upgraded. So I'm PACCAR. So if Caterpillar got upgraded, naturally I'm looking at the machinery stocks, URI. I'm looking at John Deere. I'm looking at agriculture stocks like Chai Girl pointed out that might continue to Caterpillar. So I'm looking at upgrades and downgrades. So then what do? So then I go through my Twitter feed, and then I have a couple of other sites that I use. For example, my universe is very real to me. I use one that goes for option flow. I also naturally go to TradeGATEHub, which TradeGATEHub is we're making the one-stop shop. It's not a sales pitch. The bottom line, it is. If I want to go to what stocks are moving right now, I go right here and I go, what's moving so far on the New York? Let's go to top US gainers. And I go to top US gainer or top US losers. I go in percentage order. I know what's moving. MBOT's moving today. That's been a hot stock. Let's go to MBOT, for example. MBOT had a huge range. The stocks had a range from $8 to $9.50. So it's had a 20%, 30% range in a day and a half. I'm interested. And that's what TradeGATEHub gives you. I also go to top news. My top news is a little bit of an amalgamation of my Twitter feed that we came up and we made it go. Crypto 15 minutes ago. Stocks we give you 16 minutes ago. Relevant headlines. So I'm going to TradeGATEHub. So what else am I going through a process? I'm going through this. I'm going through my notes that I punch up every morning. And these are very relevant. Early movers. Stocks, well, you can punch up sideways, if you will. Stocks that are moving early. Stocks that are hot. Stocks that are moved in the last 10 minutes. I always say,
how many pages a day do you have for your notes?
4. One here, and another page. I'll make a video of you, if you will.
Okay.
One I move for stocks that are hot yesterday that had range, or you could just go to what we print on TradeGATEHub every morning. This is it. It's basically what I write down.
I learn more. It sticks in my memory more if I write it down than if I just look at a graphic.
Well, I don't want to sound like a boomer or anything like that, but you're more likely to. Hold on a second, please. I'll be right there.
Your margin clerk. He's saying, lighten up.
I'm busy. Yeah, you there, Dale?
Yeah. How lucky to be able to trade with your best friend.
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
No, that was another trader trying to break in the room. The door. They're trying to. I'm giving such a good feed. They're trying to break in the door.
Yeah,
so what I'm
you have
saying
to pull
is,
that ad. Yeah.
What's that?
You have to pull the ad that I saw to come and sit next to you and learn from you today.
No, actually, we're going the opposite. We're taking now you have to pay to sit, but TradeGATEHubs are free at the moment. The bottom line is this, and we give you stocks that are relevant. I started off this video, if you will, only stocks that are interested on range, a good volume, and price action. For example, every day we posted stocks with large range, 2% from the open. And these are stocks that moved. Let's look at, ISPC had a huge range. So what I'm saying is I go through what was active, and it's a continuing cycle. And I punch up, macro feeds. I punch up what I think about everything going forward, and I do devise a plan. And the most important thing that I ever learned is having a plan. And you asked me what happens at 9:30. By 9:30, all of that is already processed and I'm ready to go.
Okay. So now it's 9:30. what are you going to do here now? You've taken in, all the ranges, a lot of the news that's going to affect stocks. And are you ready to go into action, or do you wait for price points to do that?
Well, I'm an active manager and I have a couple of accounts. And as it depends on the feed I have at the moment. And it depends on what's moving and how the market is acting at that particular moment.
Okay.
Give me a second, Dale. So yeah, I usually wait until the proverbial first 15 minutes and I look for the opening range break. Hold on a second, please.
Okay, you consider that the 15-minute range and then which way it comes out?
Yeah, Dale, you there?
Yes.
Yeah, another trick. Get out. We're busy. So it's I want to look for basic edge. That's all I'm looking at. And it's if something's having range and it meets my price target, then I'm going to exit the position. It's always devised on that plan. If I have a 15-minute plan, which is rare, if I have a swing trade plan, which is more than likely, and everything like that. So yeah, it depends on the plan, but it also depends on what's going on. If the VIX is low, which it has been, then I'm not going to look for a lot of movement. I'm not going to look for a lot of reversals. I'm going to look for that trend to change. As speaking right now, we're going through some sort of a Santa Claus rally, if you will. So it all depends on if my stock is acting accordingly to my plan. I also don't like to micromanage, as they say, at least this point. If you want your positions to work, don't watch them. I like to let them run a little bit. You know what I mean? But you know what? I devise a plan, and if it goes to it, that's what I do. That's what I do.
Okay. When I talked to you on the phone, you said that you were scalping the short side of Newmont. You still doing that?
No, I'm not. I think that, well, let's go to the Newmont trade, if you will. Let's look at the charts.
So what gave you the inclination to do it a few days and not now?
Wrote the short-term rotation in the market.
Okay.
That's all. I wasn't looking, I didn't leave the position on. I didn't leave a stop order. Thank God, as the stock's getting to 60 right now. Look at that thing, huh? See the trade. So you know what? I did. Well, here it is. It went through the gap at 60.50. You know what? This is the trade, Coach, because when I did the trade here, I saw the gap below. I didn't think it was a crater. I didn't think it was the reversal. It was at that time, it worked for that rotation. It was a quick trade. And by the way, if I may say so, I think I specified trade only. And I do that for a reason, because I don't want, first of all, everybody to be interested, doing contra trades all the time. But yeah, that was for trade only. But no, I'm not in the Newmont trade. I moved on from that.
Okay. All right. So your process and opening bell, and now you're just in the execution mode.
Well, listen. I say everything is continuous, if you will. The one time that I do take a break, or at least I try to, is I do try to split the day into two. For example, I also am a big believer, and this is me, and I don't think I'm wrong here, is that I'm, smart money closes. It's not how you start the day, it's how you finish the day. And I think the smart money knows a little bit better how to position later in the day than, at 9:45, 10 o'clock, because maybe somebody's tipping their hand of how China's going to do, with some news coming out afterwards. Smart money knows. And I go with the option flow, by the way.
So that tradition of when everyone was on the floor and went downtown and they took a lunch break continues even into the digital age.
Well, it isn't.
Do the algos go and take a lunch break, or high frequency traders go out for lunch?
But no, I don't think they do. If there's an opportunity to make 0.0001, I'm sure they're going to take it. And if they like to do that, that's all with them. You know what I mean? You can't listen. There's always another trade, and you can't catch everything. So like I say, I'll leave them to the robotic professionals.
Okay. Jesse Livermore.
Well, the bottom line is this: is I wanted to tell everybody where I came from and where I started from, and you know, I was lucky enough to pick a couple of good spots. I was at one previous place, and go through the dossier here, and it'll show you how I became at TradeView and where I came from, just so maybe all this may sink in a little bit more, or get a little bit more credibility to maybe sounding better. So go through the dossier. So and the bottom line is, after being at my previous firm for 15, 16 years is a very, very high level. I've trained thousands. I've seen thousands. I've seen some even become better traders than me. And then with that being said is, so I know the basics of what it is. And you know what? Like I said, I want to leave it at this, if you will. Nobody really has a better system. They do know how to implement it better. So, like I say, you have to get the fundamentals down. It's boring. It stinks. I get it. Football players practice, 6 days a week and live a lifestyle of a football player too. Majority of them, if not, to play a literal 1 hour game a day. So and they play that. So it'll tells you, how much practice comes. So my point being is I think my edge, besides being passionate and hardworking and doing the same thing at a high level for some time, is that when it comes 9:30, I don't have to. I'm ready for the game-winning shot at 9:31 already. You know what I mean? I don't have to wait till 3:30 or I want to start firing away. Right? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm already gone through my warm-ups. I already stretched. LeBron James already did the layups going through the Mr. Olympia guy that trained for 364 days. Finally does his push-ups and walks out on the stage. So his routine is set already. He's ready to perform, and so are we. So at 9:30, we're not throwing darts. We're ready to perform, and that's what we're bringing every day here.
Well, thanks for letting me hang out with you today, Mike.
You're welcome, Joe.
And showing me your edge. A lot of traders are very close to the vest with their edge, and it's unusual for someone to want to share it.
Well, if a stock that does 30 million a day is what I'm usually in, there's plenty around for everybody. I'm not hiding anything.
People use that word. Yeah, they use that word proprietary.
Yeah.
So anyway, I appreciate you enlightening people, watchers, video watchers that are people that come in here, and kind of explaining to them that it's not rocket science, but it does take time. Someone once told me, this guy Pinkert, that you can't learn experience, but you could learn from the experienced.
Well, I certainly hope his cliches are better than his karaoke videos, or else we're both in trouble.
Yeah, but you got to be careful not to insult him. You see that stance he was in?
Yeah.
Anyway, so
that's why you get up at 4 a.m. I understand that tied together. I get it.
Rocky.
I'm a trader for a reason. Yeah.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you for letting me hang out with you today, Mike. Good hunting, and look forward to learning from you in 2022.
Always, Jim, and good trading to our traders. Have a plan, trade well. Always get in TradeGATEHub. I always answer questions. Email me, whatever. I learned somebody took the time with me. It's the least I could do, and that's why we're doing this today. Cheers, everybody, and trade well. Thanks again.
Cheers, Mike.